If you just go ahead and just introduce yourself to the camera. Well, not to the camera, but to me.
I'm Tracy Roush. I'm Program Manager for the Youth and Family Services Division.
Awesome. So, Tracy, please tell us, what was the experience like for you to take the design thinking crash courses?
The experience was eye-opening, confusing at first because we all kind of didn't understand it, but once you go through the entire crash course, it really starts to make sense.
Yeah, and going through the 5 spaces of design thinking. Now, you and your team have been teaching people. You've been leading and teaching people in design thinking. So tell us about what are some of the outcomes you've seen with your team? What are some of the ways they are tackling problems, or how else have you been using the design crash course?
One of the ways that we've applied design thinking is by being more intentional about including people in certain projects that we're working on earlier instead of later when everything's been figured out. Instead of having to have the answer for the right away, we're taking the time to spend more time understanding what people are experiencing and what is frustrating them and what makes things easier, would make things easier for them. Even small things like, just asking for feedback before moving on.
And then how have you been using the design thinking crash course since the initial training? Because we finished all that. In fact, I believe this morning we got email from you that you just completed another design thinking crash course with a couple of. Tell us about that.
So we now do our new hire orientation in person, and then after the completion of the new hire orientation, we do the design thinking crash course. So we hit them all right when they've come in up front. It's about being more, having them start off on the right foot and know that we are able to.
Oh, this is great. You're doing great. You should have seen some of the other people. But you're doing great. This is all just rehearsal, and again, we're going to make it look really good.
Okay, so one of the biggest values I've seen is the new employees, how they respond to the design thinking crash course during our new employee orientation that we give for our division. It gives them an early opportunity to connect with our team's approach on how to problem solve, collaboration, and how we provide services. They really enjoy that part of the new employee orientation versus the new employee orientation because it's very interactive and also different from your typical type of your orientation session. It helps set the tone for that their ideals do matter, and at the very beginning of their relationship with the county, and that we're always looking to better ways to serve our community.
And now since that, what are some other reimaginings that you now have around the design thinking crash course? Where else or who else would you like to expose the crash course to?
So we're trying to help, with your help, redesign design thinking for our youth in our division. We have 2 residential programs that we really feel that these youth could benefit from this design thinking crash course and help them think outside of the box and different ideas to help them solve their problems.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I have to say you said that without even looking down once. That's powerful. But what really one thing that struck me, and Karen and I really want to move forward on this with you. We're just waiting for you to let us know what how else you like to move forward. But for example, if you're teaching life skills to the kids, right? And they're like, I'm still not quite sure. They can use design thinking to design their college roadmap. They can use design thinking to, hey, how will I phase out my financial as I start to go out of the system? they can actually just create full roadmaps for themselves, fully articulated, with feedback from everyone that works with you, from other professionals, and now create something that they own, that they can just simply follow, and they know the answers because they helped co-create it. And they go, I just have to follow the next step. I just follow that next plan.
And I
So
think
there's a
that's
lot
great.
of really powerful things, applications to it that could be life-changing.
That's exactly what we're looking for, and I think that's where I was looking at the training and thinking we need to tweak it a little more to match that type of stuff. Because that's exactly what some of our older kids need, and I think it needs to be tweaked a little differently for our younger kids, especially our 6 to 12-year-olds, because, you know, they want to be active, they want to run around, they want to do a little bit different. It's hard for them to sit in their seats longer. So that's where I think it needs to be tweaked.
Oh yeah, no, I already have lots of ideas on how we can do that. But especially when kids can pick up empathy. They can, especially if you give it in very tight, simple, clear parameters. It could be a lot of fun for them. And then especially the prototyping section, they're just going to have a ball with that.
Yeah.
Now, you know, what about for you personally? How has it personally changed you, or where you might have seen, hey, I used to do this, and now I'm trying to implement more questions, So what about you?
For me, it's been definitely a growth experience. When I first started participating in learning about design thinking, it was the process, how I could apply it to my own work, but now I'm thinking how it is important to create a space where everybody, especially, like I said, the new employees that we're bringing in, feel comfortable and feel that they can share their ideas and try something new, that it just always doesn't have to be by the book. We can try new things and see if other things work.
Yeah, and still give leadership buy-in. Like, there's so many other things that we have yet to show you and show the rest of the county. But to kind of give you sort of a preview, to take people through a full design thinking hackathon, that's doing design thinking in a day. That at the end of our hackathons, we usually bring in leadership, and they hear the prototypes and the ideas right then and there, and they give immediate feedback, and they're able to bypass what would take weeks or months for permission responsibility for leaders to go, we didn't know how to approach that.
Yeah.
You've just given us away. We're going to check back in with you for about 2 months and see what you've developed, or wow, that's great, how can we get that going? So that immediate feedback is what's going to be really game changing once we can really get the projects going. And then, that innovation lab, that's going to be the access point. But of course, just remind you, we can have a design thinking project right here.
Yeah.
We can meet you wherever you are, anywhere, and we'll do it. And that's what's really cool about design thinking. You can do it anywhere.
And also, I mean, it's not just for issues. We may be doing something really well already, but there's areas for improvement.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe somebody thought of a different process where we're already doing it pretty good, but we could definitely improve that process 100 times more.
Yeah. My final question to you is just to kind of now to speak openly, everything that you just said, but just speak casually and openly about it. Because you pretty much said it, what you said. But if you could just say, maybe even just bring up the points that are most exciting to you.
The points that are most exciting to me is that I'm learning to slow down and truly listen to people and what their experiences are, because I've been doing this, process for 15 years with the county. I know how the process goes, but maybe I'm not seeing it through their eyes and what their experience is. So to really just slow down and learn how they're seeing it.
Yeah. And then if you just remind us one last time how you would like to customize the design thinking crash course for your new hires and for the kids. Do just one last time through that, because that's a really powerful outcome. And that's something that's exciting is that like, yep, well, I like it and I want to do things with it that are not in the playbook. It's because I'm inspired, my team's inspired, my leadership's inspired. So I want to go and take it further than you guys left it with us.
Yeah, I mean, we've received such great feedback from the new hire orientations where the design thinking is implemented into it. And with all that feedback, everybody has thought, well, where else can we use it? How else can we improve? And it's all been thought, our youth in this division could definitely use these skills to help problem solve. It's just, it would be a tremendous benefit to them to learn these skills instead of getting so frustrated that they don't know how to handle things, that they can sit and learn how to sit and plan and think through things and design something that can help them change the situation.
Last but not least, if you could give a superlative to design thinking is cool, or actually specifically design thinking crash course, what would you say, if you can give it like your seal of approval, what would you say is your final word on the design thinking crash course? Start with the design thinking crash course and then the rest.
My thing that I would say on the design thinking crash course, it's thinking out of the box. And not everybody thinks the same way to solve the same problem. You see that through some of the activities we do. Nobody does this activity the same way. So you have to, it's about bringing everybody together because one ideal may start to develop more ideals and just build off all of that.
Awesome. This is Richard Paul. Just interviewed Tracy Roush and how her team has been using design thinking to train new hires, inspire their thinking, cultivating her own thinking with some of the methods of design thinking, but also looking to see how it might apply to her direct end users, kids of Greater Oaks Village. That's it.